Now, we normally don't do 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock drinkies when we go travelling, do we?
We certainly don't.
And we normally don't have the noise from the laundry bugging us in the background, but don't worry about that. And the other thing that I said earlier today was, in the 2 years we've been travelling, we've met 4 lovely solo females.
Yeah, you have. And then eventually I get introduced.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, today you've introduced me to a couple. We have Lee and Gai. There we go.
Yes.
And I'm Brian and Kate. Lee and Gai, Brian and Kate. Hey, I could do a rap song to that.
No, we don't want that.
Alrighty. Let's start off with Gai. Tell us your life story in the next, 30 seconds.
Born on the North Shore, finished school and ran away and joined the circus.
Why?
Because I could. And I was always looking for adventures, not a wild child, but if anyone was in a tree, it was me.
You come across as a bit of a wild child,
Oh, well, no, but anyway, I joined the circus and ended up falling in love with the catcher on the flying trapeze. And
As you do.
As you do.
Right?
And of course, we were together for 46 years, so... Yeah.
Wow. So obviously you got around in tights and things like that.
Oh, yes.
But how did your family react to you falling in love with the catcher in the circus?
Oh, well, my mum wasn't very pleased. She, I took off and Dad said, "Don't worry, she'll be home in 3 months." Well, it was 7 years later, married and pregnant. As you do. But as soon as they got a sniff that I had met someone I really liked, they jumped in the car one night from Sydney, drove all the way through the hay plains, all the way to Adelaide, non-stop. Check him out.
Wow.
He clearly passed muster.
No, he didn't. And his mother actually sidled up to my mother and said, they'll marry, And my mother, being from the North Shore, said, "Over my dead body." Which we always knew that story, but she didn't think we did. And on her deathbed sort of thing, she confessed to my husband that she'd been really horrible. But it took her a long time to address the fact that I had married a circus guy. And she wasn't really pleased about it at all, but he was just a brilliant husband, brilliant dad. He'd never said a foot wrong. When we left the circus, eventually he went and joined the police force. He did a lot of things in life. From the police force, we owned businesses and things like that. And then he was 15 years with Star Casino as their top investigator. And, so he was a good bloke. But it wasn't until she was dying she decided, well, he's been all right, really.
How extraordinary. So I don't know how many were in your family, whether you were the only wild child, but, what prompted it? Was there any particular thing that made you just go, I don't want that lifestyle?
Oh, look, I think they'd been very, very strict. And I think I got to the stage I just wanted out. I'd actually won a scholarship to Teachers College and I said, I don't want it. I couldn't cope with studying anymore. And because I had actually been on a sheep farm and done a lot of those sorts of things as a child with friends, they had a governess. Well, to me, that was the best job ever. So the first job that comes along is governess with the circus. So that's where I went from there. And, it was Ashton Circus. My husband is an Ashton. So we went from there.
Is that the same Ashton Circus that goes to New Zealand?
Yes.
Well, I might have met your husband because many, many moons ago, not in that way, I didn't.
No, because...
As a reporter
yes.
In New Zealand in 1976, I did a feature on the Ashton Circus in Dunedin.
Okay, we left from Dunedin, but we were there with the clown who lost his circus and we actually got engaged in Wellington.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you will have to look back in some old
yes.
film in those days.
Yeah, well, I don't have a copy of it, but it was a feature, so it was a 15-minute feature that I did.
Okay.
I'm sure you could chase it up.
I'd
Yes.
love to.
Well, we did the 3 months over there with the pantomime, and then they decided to extend. So we said, we've got to go back. We can't stay any longer. I won't go into the nitty-gritty, but anyway, we persevered and we got our airfares back, and we went back, picked up our van and our truck, and we went and then joined Soul Brothers Circus. Well done.
Good on you. You're not going into the nitty-gritty, and you don't have to, but there was... Can you hint at what the problem
Financially,
was?
we couldn't afford to stay in New Zealand. New Zealand dollars didn't equate to what we were paying off in Australia as in Australian dollars. And we were, just a young couple, early 20s. And we just, plus Jim's parents had gone to Soul Brothers Circus. And so his mum, dad and brother were there. So we took that opportunity, and for us it was another couple of years with another family and everything, but we weren't popular because we were family leaving family, but we had to do it.
It's a very interesting thing talking about family, because sometimes family can be right royal pains, as we know.
Royal being the operative word at the moment.
And a lot of people are a little bit nervous about circus families. They think, I know that there was a derogatory comment, carnies. Did you ever get that?
Completely different people. And the show people that do all the showgrounds, they hate that word. And they're very hard-working people. And, we have, through my husband, relatives that work those shows as well. Now, they've just spent all that money taking everything to the territory, and they've cancelled all their shows. Now, can you imagine the amount of diesel and the hours of driving to get up there, to have everything cancelled? But no, they hate that word, carnies. They are showmen, and they are one of the hardest workers you've ever come across.
Well, they're very professional. It's a little bit like gypsies and nomads.
Yes, well, that's right. But as far
we
as
work.
family go, Jim's family, I'm introduced to everybody as a cousin. And that's it. You can only have that little drop in you. And my children that are third and fourth cousins, no matter what, they're treated royally. You are cousins, And the communication and the love and support that we've had, especially what I've had from them lately. I mean, I've just spent a week in the Gold Coast on the lot again with them at Infamous. I'm glad I didn't have to wear what they wear, but anyway, it was great being there.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Can you explain?
Infamous. You haven't seen the show? Okay, Peppy Ashton, he's the grandson of Dougie and Phyllis, right? And as the family grew bigger, the show wasn't big enough anymore to accommodate and be financial for all the families. So he took off over to Western Australia and started his own show, and he travelled around as Joseph Ashton Circus. Then it was starting to get a little bit not mundane, because his acts are brilliant. Everything about them is just top-notch, 5-star. But they've gone into the cabaret side of it. You have to be 18 plus, at least. It's a completely new take. It's a brilliant show, though. You still have all your circus acts, the beautiful choreography. You've got your little dancers and topless and all sorts of things.
Where can I see this show?
Yes, it's on the Gold Coast. But it's just a brilliant show. And 10 out of 10 for them to pick a niche that is warranted. They weren't allowed to have their animals anymore, so they had to find another avenue, and this is what they've done. They've got a full operational bar. You can take your wine in. There's table service. The costuming's beautiful. Music's fantastic.
Well, it's theatre, isn't it? That's what it is. It's theatre. Yeah.
Plus the extras.
Yeah.
But it's great. But I stayed with them, and I was in there every night watching, and I love it. And I just felt at home, and that's what they're still like. And you can't go yet. Well, I have to go. Well, make sure you stay on the way back. They're just love their family, and that's it.
That's good.